Imagine being stuck in traffic, the kind where nothing moves for 20 minutes. You're running late for work, your coffee has spilled across your lap, and your phone won't stop buzzing with unanswered emails. To make matters worse, the driver in the car next to you is smiling with eyes closed, chanting, "I am light, I am abundance, I am limitless." You can't help but roll your eyes and think, are you serious right now? This, in a nutshell, is how many people feel about modern-day positivity. It often looks more like denial than strength. In our culture of constant posting and polished self-help memes, positivity has been repackaged into something shallow. It's plastered on Instagram stories, stitched onto throw pillows, and repeated in daily mantras that sound like they came straight out of a fantasy novel. But what happens when real life slams you in the face, when your relationship breaks down, when you lose your job, when someone you love falls sick? Suddenly, that forced smile and cheerful affirmation feel like emotional gaslighting. The real issue isn't positivity itself, it's the brand of positivity that tries to leapfrog over struggle, that refuses to acknowledge pain, that treats hardship as an inconvenience rather than a teacher. That's not strength, that's spiritual bypassing. There's a term for this kind of behavior, toxic positivity. It refers to the societal expectation to remain upbeat regardless of how difficult or traumatic a situation is. It shows up as the friend who tells you to just be grateful when you're grieving, or the colleague who brushes off your burnout by saying, "At least you have a job." It's rooted in the illusion that if we think positively enough, everything will be fine. But life isn't a curated quote feed. Life is messy, unpredictable, and often unfair. And the truth is, people don't need empty optimism, they need grounded hope. So how do we cultivate a version of positivity that's real, practical, and mentally healthy? One that doesn't demand we deny our pain, but instead helps us grow through it. I believe the answer lies in a simple two-step mindset. First, acknowledge both the good and the bad in every situation. Second, once you've done that, choose to focus intentionally on the parts that move you forward. The first step, acknowledging both light and shadow, is often the hardest. Most of us are conditioned to polarize our thinking. This is good, that is bad, this is success, that is failure. But reality is more nuanced than that. Let's say you receive harsh feedback from your manager. The instinctive response might be to dismiss it with bravado. What do they know? I'm doing great. But if you pause, breathe, and look honestly, you might discover a sliver of truth within the sting. Maybe you have been distracted lately. Maybe there is room to improve. Real positivity doesn't flinch from discomfort. It leans in, looks pain in the eye, and asks, what can I learn here? Once you've accepted the whole picture, good, bad, and in between, you move to step 2, intentional focus. This isn't about blind optimism. It's about strategic attention. You don't ignore the hardship. You simply decide not to dwell there. For instance, if you didn't get the promotion you were hoping for, it's okay to feel the disappointment. But after that, you pivot. Now that I have more time, maybe I can finally pursue that side project. Maybe this is a signal to realign. In this sense, positivity isn't passive. It's an act of courage. It's the willingness to say, I see what's wrong, but I will build with what's right. Let me offer a practical story. Imagine working in an office where one of your teammates is perpetually negative. They complain, gossip, and bring a heavy energy into every meeting. At first, you try to brush it off. But over time, their attitude starts to infect your mood. You feel drained, you become resentful, you start complaining yourself. What now? Most people default to one of two options. They either internalize the negativity, grit their teeth and endure it, or they fight back, confronting the person in a way that escalates tension. Neither approach truly works. The better option, mental reframing. Instead of fixating on the person's flaws, take a step back and assess objectively. Is there anything at all this person does well? Maybe they're reliable, maybe they help interns, maybe they bring donuts every Friday. Now every time they walk into the room, you practice focusing on that redeeming trait. At first, it might feel forced, but over time, your brain begins to adapt. The emotional trigger weakens, the energy shifts, you haven't changed them. You've changed your response. This is the essence of realistic positivity. It doesn't require anyone else to act differently. It requires you to see differently. It's a mental discipline, a quiet rebellion against emotional chaos. Now don't confuse this with naivety. This isn't about pretending things are okay when they're not. It's not about ignoring injustice or avoiding hard conversations. It's about being emotionally agile. You feel the full weight of what's wrong and still choose to anchor yourself in what's right. You don't deny your humanity. You just don't hand it over to fear or bitterness. Here, as another personal example that illustrates this idea. A close friend of mine worked in a corporate building where the nearest restroom constantly reeked of cigarette smoke. He despised it. He filed multiple complaints. Nothing changed, so he began walking to a bathroom 2 floors up. It took longer, but along the way, he used the time to stretch, breathe, and listen to calming music. Over time, what began as an annoyance became a built-in wellness break. He reframed the obstacle as opportunity. This isn't the stuff of social media inspiration posts. It's not glamorous, but it's real, and more importantly, it worked. You can apply this mindset in crisis as well. Remember the early months of the COVID lockdowns. Some people used the downtime to reconnect with family, explore hobbies, and reflect. Others spiraled into despair. The same external situation, radically different internal responses. The determining factor wasn't circumstance. It was perspective. This isn't just philosophical, it's scientific. Psychologists call it cognitive reframing, and it's proven to reduce stress, improve resilience, and even enhance immune function. Your brain, it turns out, isn't fixed. It evolves based on where you place your attention. Think of it like a garden. What you water grows. If you constantly focus on what's broken, that's what will take root. But if you learn to nourish what's working, you begin to grow a life that feels more empowered, even in hardship. Now, what if your environment is filled with negativity at home, at work, or online? You may not be able to control your surroundings, but you can control your mental spotlight. Picture your attention as a flashlight. Even in a dark room, that beam of light can help you navigate if you choose where to aim it. And when you consistently aim it toward things that uplift, you train your mind to become an ally instead of an enemy. Want to make this practical? Try a 1-week challenge. At the end of each day, write down 3 good things, no matter how small. The warmth of your coffee, a kind text, the fact that you made it through. Then, when something frustrates you, jot down both the downside and any possible upside, no matter how small. And finally, start honoring your effort, not just your outcomes. I didn't finish the whole list, but I showed up, I tried, I kept going. These micro shifts may seem insignificant, but repeated over time, they build a more optimistic default setting in your mind. One last thing, don't idolize positivity. Don't think the people who seem endlessly cheerful have it all figured out. The most grounded people you know still get overwhelmed, still yell at their kids, still cry in parking lots. The difference, they bounce back, they apologize, they try again tomorrow. Positivity isn't a personality, it's a practice. And like any practice, it gets easier with repetition. In the end, this isn't about being happy all the time. It's about cultivating a kind of joy that survives storms. The kind of joy that can sit with sadness, hold space for grief, and still choose to smile, not because everything's perfect, but because you're committed to showing up. So the next time someone tells you to just stay positive, don't roll your eyes. Ask yourself instead, how can I turn this into something useful? And then do that, not loudly, not for applause, but for you, for your peace, for the kind of person you're becoming. You are not broken if you struggle to be optimistic. That struggle means you're awake, alive, and human. So keep going, not to be blindly happy, but to be fully present. The world doesn't need more fake smiles. It needs more real people who still choose to hope. I hope you found this video helpful. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to hit the like button. It might seem like a small thing, but because of how the YouTube algorithm works, videos with more likes tend to get shown to more people. So your like really helps this video reach others who might need it too. And if you find my content valuable, consider subscribing. It really helps more people discover it. Thanks for watching, and I wish you and your family good health and peace. See you in the next video.